And so that is probably the biggest difference maker between our events and most other people's events that, again, not a lot of people think about, but is so crucial to everything we do. We want everyone to connect because the power is in the community. Like, yes, it's in my teaching as well. Cool, cool, cool. And I want you to meet other brilliant people because I think about the people in my life that I've met on the internet and have been really big parts of my life. Like one of my very best internet friends was actually the officiant at my wedding or at my elopement.
Wow. Wow.
Like,
So
so
cool.
there's such a big bond that can actually happen through the internet. And that's not to be overlooked and that's not to be like pushed to the side. Like it's powerful.
Welcome to the Online Creator Podcast. I'm your host, Kim Tradewell, founder of May and James Co., a creative digital company. Building a brand is about human connection. I am here to help you articulate your story through strategy, development, and execution. I believe that anything is possible at any age and at any stage of business. The only limits we have are the ones that we place on ourselves. I want you to feel like you are supported, not alone, and that you are able to take action quickly. On this podcast, expect to hear interviews from a wide range of guest speakers, bite-sized solo episodes from myself, bingeable episodes that will give you insights, different perspectives, and actionable strategies to help you reach your goals personally and professionally. Now let's get into the show. Jordan Gill is a 7-figure business strategist whose mission is for high-achieving business owners to prioritize rest without sacrificing revenue. She's helped over 400 coaches and consultants work with clients only 4 days a month with VIP days. When she's not spreading the gospel of VIP days, she's working on one of her 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzles or traveling the world with her husband and bonus son. Welcome to the show, Jordan. Okay, Jordan, I can't believe you're sitting here chatting with me and you've taken the time. So I appreciate you right from the start. Thank you for joining me today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. It's such a delight. I'm really excited to get to chat about some of my favorite subjects.
Yeah, I had Lindsay on the show last week and I was kind of fangirling because we've traveled in the same circles, but I've never actually been able to have like a one-on-one conversation with her before. So I was like so excited to talk all things Hello Audio and all things audio really in general. And so, yeah, we could have kept the conversation going a little bit longer.
Oh, that's so fun. Love Lindsay. We're birthday twins.
Yes. Awesome. So let's just jump right in with the first question that I've been asking every guest that's come on is how have you leveraged your voice to impact your business and life? And has it changed or evolved since you started your business to where you are now? It's kind of a loaded question.
Yes, it is so good though. And I would say I've definitely used my voice for those who, again, can potentially be the only in their family. So I struggle with a few chronic illnesses. I am biracial, so I'm half white, half black. There are, again, different elements of who I am and as far as identity that tend to put me in the only category whenever I'm in a variety of rooms of people or even my own family. And so when it comes to my voice, I find it very important to share how I've navigated the world as an only. And I find that in most like typical circumstances, it's very one note. And so to share your experiences, if you are relating to anything that I've shared, is so important because people need to see and hear from you. Otherwise, they're going to get a very one noted experience and perspective. So I find it extremely important to share my voice around the different things about me that, again, are semi atypical and be able to show that, like, I'm still good. Like, I'm still happy. I'm still successful in the ways that I find successful. And that gives other people the permission to stand up and share their voice in whatever it is that they may be the only in as well. So I've feel as though that's stayed pretty consistent. It's gotten refined, I will say, through the years, but I would say it's pretty similar and consistent overall.
Love that. You have had a podcast, Systems Saved
Yeah.
Me. How
Yes.
long was that running and what was that experience like?
Okay, so I started my podcast about 3 months into my business. So I started my business May 2016, and I started my podcast in July of 2016. So I think I have over 300 episodes on there at this point. I paused it last year in June-ish. So June 2021. So I had it for 5 years.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah, and, I love podcasting, whether it's my own podcast or guest podcasting like this. I think that there's just so many benefits from it, and the reason for the pause was mainly because my business for about a year prior to that had taken a really deep focus into VIP days, and
Hmm.
so the content and information being shared on my podcast wasn't as relevant to what I was looking to be kind of a category of one in. So, my team and I were very vicious when it comes to our energy and
Sure.
where we spend it and whatnot. And so we just had to make a decision, like, again, for Jordan to spend all of his time doing interviews and then the team doing all the editing and promoting. Is that going to be relevant to get us more clients? And the answer was no. And so we put a pause on it, mainly because maybe we'll bring it back one day, and whatnot. It was very difficult for me to be like, I'm never gonna come back to this.
Right.
So maybe it's
Sure.
my own like I don't know, separation anxiety, but I really did enjoy it when I had it. It was a blast. And I think that especially for a lot of people who like video is a difficult medium,
Hmm.
or even if writing is a difficult medium, I wouldn't say that writing is something that comes super naturally to me. Like if you are somebody who kind of is a external processor or somebody who loves to share, obviously through voice, and podcasts are like the best thing ever. Highly
Yeah,
recommend.
absolutely. I agree. And I think you touched on a few different points there. With your 300 episodes that are like essentially evergreen material that are in
Totally.
content that is sitting there, do you find that people are finding you through there still, or that you can reference some of that material still, or is it just kind of like all on pause?
Yeah, so I think we have really good SEO.
Hmm.
So the fact that, we have
That
systems in the
matters.
name, like if you type in systems in any podcast thing, we come up in the top. And so that's super beneficial. I think that people do still find us. It's funny, people will DM me about certain episodes that they're listening to or saw someone share, which is really wonderful. I would say we don't necessarily get clients from there, and we never actually did, which is very
Hmm.
interesting.
Hmm.
So it's not, and that was kind of on purpose. So my whole goal for my podcast was actually to use it as a piece of leverage for connection.
Hmm.
So it was more for, when I'm meeting people and I want to connect with them or build a relationship with them, getting to invite them onto my podcast was a way to open a door that may not have been as easy to open. And so it was way more a connection leverage tool than a client getting tool, if that makes sense. And that's not because podcasts can't get you clients. So I don't want people to think that, because that's not true at all. I had a very specific reason for my podcast, and that
Yeah.
was for, again, showcasing obviously different systems that different people had and connecting with people that I wanted to connect with, whether it was in collaboration or
Hmm.
connection or referral partnerships or things like that. My podcasts are a really great way to open that door that people may not have otherwise been interested in talking to you. Of course, they
Hmm.
want to share their story with your audience and whatnot. So it really allowed for that, and that was 100% the goal of it, pretty much from jump. So, and it absolutely did its job for sure.
What it needed to do. I think
Yeah.
podcasting, just like building out a framework for your intensive or you're done in a day, it's
Yep.
all about having that solid foundation of what are you going to get out of it. And it's okay that if it changes and evolves with your growth, just the same
Totally.
as intensives, right? Like, I mean, my intensive, when I worked with you, looks a little different because that was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, how long ago was that already? But that's okay because my business has evolved. And I think we need to consider that when we're using any medium, whether it is blogging, YouTube videos, or podcasting. We really have to kind of take a break when we need to take a break and reevaluate what do we really want to have come of this. Do you think it helped with your speaking? Like, I know you talked about preserving your energy, and I'm a true believer in that too. And that's why I like really talk about batching content so that it doesn't keep going on and on and on. Because no matter what kind of content you develop and create, it takes a little time. But if you select certain days to do it, it helps. Do you
Yeah.
think all of those episodes and all of those years podcasting
Mhm.
helped you become a better speaker?
Oh my gosh, hands down. I I've even noticed actually since I've been doing less of my own episodes that the like ums and
Hmm.
ahs and those sort of things have come back a little bit because those were things that I really wanted to work on. And so I would
Hmm.
say for sure, if you plan to speak on stages and be teaching and stuff, creating a podcast to practice and get your repetitions in and be more cognizant
Hmm.
of what you're saying at all times is super beneficial. I would say for sure when I was doing again podcasting a little bit more regularly did help kind of alleviate those typical ums, ahs, likes, all that stuff.
Absolutely. Do you like? I know you've hosted many live workshops. What kind of sets those apart and makes them so successful? Because I just find it like super fascinating. I've been a part of a few of them, so I know the energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, can you talk about that at all?
Yes. For having an online business, I'm very much an in-person person, and that can be difficult to recreate virtually for sure. So our virtual conference we've done 6 times in various capacities. Our first one was 1 day, and then for 2 through 6, it's always been 2 days. And I really wanted it to feel like a vortex. I wanted it to feel like you step into this kind of alternate space on the
Hmm.
internet that was kind, that allowed you to shine and share, allowed you to connect. Because I think too often when people create events that whether they're virtual or in person, they think about all of the things they want to have or get out of it, right? Like, I want clients out of it. I want this. I want that. And, we also have that mindset. However, we're also very, very in tune with what are things that not other events are doing or other events aren't doing. And one of them is like connection. Like,
Hmm.
you go to somebody else's webinar, virtual event, workshop, challenge, whatever, they are trying to have you guys connect. Like, there's no facilitation of that, which always was interesting to me because I know that whenever I'm in a space that feels really good, the likelihood of me being in that space more is heightened, right?
Hmm.
If I have good experience with the people around me. And so we really wanted to capture that. And actually, this last virtual conference in September, we had tested out a new community method that was not great. And that really made me upset. But our goal with our virtual conferences is that, yes, we want you to join our group program.
Hmm.
And if not, you may join the second or third, which happens often. And we want you to like meet new people because
Yes.
again, when you meet people, it's like, oh, I remember you because Lindsay connected us, or I remember you because I met you at this event, or I remember you because it's like you can be forever glued into this person's memory of meeting this
Hmm.
person because it was a good experience at your event, at your whatever. And so that is probably the biggest difference maker between our events and most other people's events that, again, not a lot of people think about, but is so crucial to everything we do. We want everyone to connect because the power is in the community. Like, yes,
Hmm.
it's in my teaching as well. Cool, cool, cool. And I want you to meet other brilliant people because I think about the people in my life that I've met on the internet and have been really big parts of my life. Like one of my very best internet friends was actually the officiant at my wedding or at my elopement.
Wow. Wow.
Like,
So
so
cool.
there's such a big bond that can actually happen through the internet,
Hmm.
and that's not to be overlooked, and that's not to be, like, pushed to the side, like, it's powerful, you know? So, So that's our biggest thing with our virtual conference and why I think it has a different vibe, energy, vortex than probably most other like virtual events or even live events that people have been to.
There's a couple of things from that. Being a participant at a couple of them, I know for sure and for fact that the times where I had to step away and I missed like a portion of it and then I watched the replay, I was so mad I missed the live part. Like it was good, but it's not, you're
Right.
missing. You're
Yeah.
missing out.
Yeah.
The feeling of being energized and connection, like you said, it's really, really truthfully there. I have met some amazing humans from being a part of your world. Like when you say the online, it is true. Like you have some amazing people in your world. And I continue to talk to them and continue to collaborate because I don't want to lose that connection.
Yeah.
And the other thing is I think we are craving that human connection. And I think I'm seeing more people create, in person, in real life, or whatever you want to call it, events, but also like you creating these workshops in a style and in a way that is accessible to others that can't travel still because of
Yeah.
affordability or just life. I think we need it and we
Yeah.
are craving it because I'm still a team of one. I'm hoping to grow, but I'm still with Team Kim and it's pretty lonely out here. It's pretty
Yeah.
lonely. So knowing that there's opportunities to connect and to build, networking events like this is pretty exciting and I hope you continue. And yeah, if it didn't work, that tool or platform you used, oh well, try something else the next time, right? And I think it's just like everything we try, like the podcasting, we got to see if it's for us and at least just try because if we don't, how do we know if it's going to work and accessible for what we need? So I
Hello.
appreciate that so much. Can
Yeah.
you talk a little bit more about your VIP days? If you're not completely burnt out about talking about them, I just think it's like going back to you talking about how it really does protect your energy. I think we're just being more and more aware of that this world is exhausting outside of our business online. And that sometimes, we just we get like overwhelmed with retainer clients and then don't know how to get out of them. And I just have had that conversation with a lot of people. And I think retainer clients are and consistent. And I think we get into a comfort level. How do you talk to somebody about how you can bring in a VA day or an intensive that starts like flipping that around so that you have more energy and more time in your life?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I don't think I'll ever get tired of talking about VIP. Good.
Good,
It
good.
just lights up my life. So what I think is the retainer method is a great way to start your business. And I don't discount that at all. It's how I started my business. I think that it helps you to know what you like, what you don't like, what you enjoy doing, what you don't enjoy doing, what skills you have, client expectations, boundaries, all of that stuff. And I think that, again, there is a bit of a comfort that happens because it very much feels like a job in that employee mindset, but you're not an employee. And so you actually are not any more protected than people doing VIP days. And I truly believe that because there's people who come into our program and have 1, 2, or even 3 clients drop them in like a span of a month.
Mhm.
And that happens, especially when times are difficult. One of the first things a business owner is going to go to as far as cutting is major monthly expenses. And guess what major monthly expenses are? Team. So I think that is a bit of a false reality that you're protected and that it's secure. And then what is unfortunate is most people who have retainer businesses, they don't market themselves very often. And so then when a client drops, they're now having to like paddle upstream because they haven't connected with anybody. They haven't marketed their business at all. And so it's going to take you much longer to get that next client because you're having to play catch up. And I think kind of one of the beauties of VIP days is yes, you are going to be marketing more than you technically would with retainers. However, that is going to set you up for so much more success when things are difficult or when again you need another client. That's part of the nature of VIP days. And so there isn't such a it's not as anxiety ridden because you're already doing the marketing, you're already doing the connecting, you're already putting yourself out there, and it's not something that you're, again, like 2 months behind on, right? Where if had you been connecting with people consistently, you probably
You be
would be able to get that client back up. So I think that VIP days are a really, really wonderful way for people who are wanting that time back and not having to sacrifice on the end of revenue, because you can make a really decent living, like with
Mhm,
VIP days. Like I had six-figure revenues and income for several years
mhm,
because it's very high profit. You have like maybe a few software under your belt,
mhm.
and that's like it.
Yeah.
So like it was really beautiful. And I think back to those times and I'm like, oh, that was nice. Sometimes, like, and I love my team, love, love, love my team, all 9 of them. But there are days where I'm just like, okay.
It's
And
a
so I
lot.
think it's a really great business model for people who just wanna make an impact, not have their work take over their life, and find a harmony between their business and life. Balance is kind of a tricky situation because I don't really think you can get, like, a perfect balance with that stuff, but it's a harmony. Like, you can really manage how much you really wanna work and how much you don't wanna work with the VIP day business model better than retainer, because clients think that you're available 24/7 all the time. VIP day clients are like, "I get you for this day," and it's very clear, and you're not gonna have the same issues of expectations and boundary pushers and all that stuff. It's not 100%. No business model is 100% free of difficulty when it comes to clients. However, I've found that it's just much clearer boundaries when it comes to VIP days, and that drastically decreased, like, a lot of the mismanagement of expectations between me and clients.
I love that, and I think that's there's a few of my clients too that, with intensives or VI days, they're like, "I don't have time, so I like your model. Like, this is
Yeah.
this is what I need in my world because I don't want it to drag out forever." So, I think that's pretty amazing. I think it can work in the positive for both parties, both sides.
Yeah.
I've had this conversation a few times with people talking about personalities with
Mhm.
marketing strategies. And
Oh,
I
I love
feel
that.
like I would love to hear your insight on how you approach that with your business, with how and who you are so that it feels good and it feels right. Like, has there ever been like a time where you're just like, oh, I just want to take a break from all of this? Like, how do you keep consistently showing up? Because that's something that definitely I have struggled with. And I don't think I'm the only one.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not. I like to be very upfront. I have 4 people on my marketing team.
That's sweet.
So that's how you stay
Yes.
consistent,
Yeah.
is you
Yeah. That's
hire
sweet.
somebody
Yeah.
else. Uh, so, there's a secret. But I would
You
say
still have to
that
show up. You still have
right,
to
I
show
still
up,
do
right?
have to do videos and, like,
Hmm.
whatever. So I would say, yeah, personality-wise, but also the fact that I am low energy, like, I have to batch. Like, if I don't
Hmm.
batch, it is, like, a problem. I will say that one thing about Reels that has been helpful is it's such a light lift for
Mm.
me to record that versus, again, like a YouTube video or something that has to be a little bit more like sit down, script, and figure it out. So I think Reels play to the fact that I can be laying on my beanbag and just like record something really quick and then I'm done. So I've been able to lean into that. However, I think that it's really important to not feel like you have to do something just because other people in your industry are doing
Mhm.
it, or it's like the cool thing, or whatever the case is, because we tried doing like YouTube for like 4 months. And
Mhm.
what was interesting, we did 2 videos a month.
Mhm.
Definitely was one of the more exhausting marketing things for me.
Wow.
And, at the end of it, we looked at the results, and number 1, we were getting less than like 100 views per video, which is
Mm.
just like hard for me. And
Video
secondly,
editing's a lot. Yeah.
yeah. So secondly, the target market was so off. I'm talking
Okay.
our typical target market's like 25 to 44
Mhm.
female, and our target market for YouTube was 18 to 24 male.
Okay.
I'm like,
That's
I don't
different.
know what about my content says this is for 18 to 24-year-old males. Like I'm wearing pink. I just don't even understand. So it was really defeating, but at the same
Right.
time, it also was like, okay, we can just like be done with that for a little while. And we've invested in some different YouTube strategies and courses and things
Yeah.
like that for our team to get good at it. But it's also okay if we just like never go back to YouTube, and that's fine. Like it's not
Totally fine.
the end of the world. Like if Instagram feels good to us, TikTok feels good to us, we do want to ramp up our email newsletter and whatnot. But I would say personality wise, things that can be batched is helpful for me, which I can
Mhm.
batch a ton of reels even at any given time, but also things that are low energy, like longer videos drain my energy so fast. But like quick, like upbeat
Just
videos,
fine.
like it's fun, it's cool, it's easy, and it doesn't feel as draining at the end of it. So I think really leaning into your energy capacities is one thing that a lot of people don't think about when it comes to marketing. And then secondly, yeah, like personality, if it's an unbatchable marketing tactic where you have to like go live on Facebook every day or whatever the case is, it's like, well, just don't do that. Like I said,
Just don't
don't,
do that and give yourself
like
permission. I think your reels
exactly.
are doing really well though, right? Like I
Thank
think people
you.
are
They
really
are doing
relating
well.
to the
Yeah.
beanbag episodes. Like,
Yeah,
like
they're
people can relate to that and I love that. I think you're giving me, excitement to try. And it's so funny. Like it's just something that's been there but not been there.
yes.
Right. So I think you showing up and doing that is really helpful. So thank you for that.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Yeah, reels are fun, man. And at first, it was like if I go back and look at my first reels, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is
Right.
painful because, like, I just was like doing the most typical like
Mhm.
reel when it first came out, and I was like pointing, and you could tell I wasn't having fun. And then I was just like, well, how can this be fun? Like, how can I just like let go of what it's supposed to look like? And
Mhm.
that's where it's like that's where people like really enjoy it
Absolutely.
because they can relate or they can laugh or whatever the case
Mhm.
is. So.
May and James Co. has all the resources you need to create audio assets in your business. You can go to mayandjamesco.com and check out all the things. We have done for you and done with you services that will meet you at any stage of your business. If you're starting a podcast or refining what you have, or if you want to create audio to support your coaching business or for your marketing efforts, there's so many ways to create audio. Let's chat. Take what you've learned on this podcast and implement it into your own business. You can find the link in the show notes and use code podcast to get 15% off any service or product on the site. Start building your brand, your community through leveraging your voice and organically creating income and impact today. What's in the future for Jordan Gill or System Save Me, whatever you want to
Yeah.
speak on?
For sure. So we are adapting our program, which was 6 months previously, to an 8-week version,
Yes, I see that.
which I'm really excited about because of data. I don't make
Mhm.
many decisions not based on data. I think it's a mix between data and gut most of the times, but data is definitely present. So we just realized that a lot of our clients were kind of there's a few different, I guess, types. And one of them was like they never came to the coaching calls, never came to did stuff in the community. And then but they did all the self-study of the curriculum and the testimonial at the end would be like, we sold like 15 VIP days. And I'm like, who are you? Like, I
Right.
never saw you. Never not once saw you. Like, what happened here? But I'm really glad that you got results. And
Yes.
then secondly, we had people who were like really focused for the first like 2 months and like really dialed in and really honed in. And then like they were pretty good after that. Like, and there was, the rest of the 6 months was cool, but also they didn't really need it.
Right.
And of course, there were people who needed the full 6 months. But I would say that generally speaking, the first two types were more common from a success rate. And so looking at that, again, I don't really believe in how you've always done things is how you need to do them moving forward. And so why would we continue to have it be a 6-month process when like the results speak for themselves as far as people either get it done in 8 weeks or they get it done, just on their own time. And so we made the decision to do a self-study, which was really great and people are really enjoying. And then we're transitioning into an 8-week. We've done 2 like rounds of it, and that's what we're gonna be doing moving forward in January because I think it's gonna be a really, again, thinking of like the virtual conference as a vortex, like I think the
Mhm.
8 weeks will be a really great vortex and momentum for people to like move forward and really get the most out of the program. Because I think sometimes if you give people it's like one of those, what's that law? There's like a law out there that's like however much time you give people, that's how much time it will take. I'm like, I don't
Mhm.
want it to take
I
6 months for
agree.
people. Like that's
I
not
agree.
like goal. So how do we tighten that up and then also think through from a very heavy client experience standpoint to make sure that the 8 weeks are productive for people. So that's our newest project and where we're going to be putting a lot of focus in 2023. And then uh, some other fun things are I have a lot of speaking engagements already for next year, which is really
Oh,
interesting because we don't really put a focus on me like speaking on stages per se, but I think we have 3 or 4
oh,
for next year already. I wouldn't say I do it often. I'd say maybe 1 or 2 a year. So that's interesting.
yeah,
And
for
then I
sure.
think we're also going to be leaning into, and this is very weird for me to say, but like influencer content. Mainly
Okay.
because a lot of the reels that have been working well are ones where I'm like showing my office and like this is the lighting I have or this is the shoes I wear or
Tools
whatever.
I'm using. Yeah.
People are really responding to that and are really just curious about like what I'm doing and using in my like
Mhm.
workspace. So we're gonna be looking to do some like premium partnerships. Not only will they be sponsors for our hybrid event, most likely in September. So we'll still have a virtual option, but want to do in person really badly.
Oh, exciting.
So yeah, I think we'll do that in September-ish. So they'll sponsor that, but then also we'll do some like monthly content around that same sponsor. So really wanting to, again, I'm really big into relationships, and so if it's a sponsorship, I don't want it to just be like one reel and peace out. I want it to be something that, again, I believe in wholeheartedly. So going after like the air tables and some of the other things that, again, we use all the time and we suggest for our own clients.
Mhm.
But then not only do we get affiliate income, we also get like a sponsorship package sort of deal.
Absolutely.
So
No, I
so
think that's
that's also
exciting.
coming next year, which I'm really excited about. My team is really excited about. I'm still like, "Oh my gosh, my face is everywhere still." But I'm like, "When's the day that my face doesn't have to be everywhere?" But
Right.
I don't know when that's gonna happen. So
Right.
it's fun though, and it kinda came about like really randomly. It wasn't a plan per se. So yeah, we're leaning into what's working and what's fun, which I think is again such a under talked about like position. It's like
Mhm.
if you are having fun, like, people feed off that energy, and if you're not having fun, people feed off that energy. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. That's one of the main reasons why I started this too. I just want to have some fun and I love connecting with people. And this is a great way to do it. If I'm helping others, why shouldn't I help myself? So I love that. Before we wrap up with some quick rapid fire questions, how do
Yeah.
people find you?
Yes. So, Instagram is my jam. As you can say, you can come and giggle at my reels. It's at systems saved me, plural systems, not just one system can save you. And then I would say, yeah, just website has a bunch of different resources. So you can just go to systemsaving.com and browse around and see what tickles your fancy. I would say those are probably the 2 best things. And I'm the one in my DMs. I like to chitter chat. It may take me an extra day or 2 because I'm a real human, but yeah, those are probably the 2 best places.
But okay, rapid fire questions, just a
Okay.
couple. Quick responses. Don't put too much thought into it.
Okay.
What is the best and worst part about entrepreneurship?
Whew, okay. Best part is like being able to see like your direct influence with people and the impact that you're making. Like, because in corporate or things like that, like a lot of times you don't actually see like the impact you're making, but being so close to the impact is really awesome and the best part. Worst part of entrepreneurship, I think the mental game of it all is
Hmm.
probably what I would say. I think that we as entrepreneurs are very good at convincing ourselves of realities that aren't true
Hmm.
or that don't actually serve us. And so I have had to put a lot of effort toward my mental game and keeping
Hmm.
my stamina and keeping myself in good thought when things are hard, whether it's personal life or professional life and whatnot, that your mind can play tricks on you very easily. So I would say probably the worst part of entrepreneurship is like the mental game. It's tough.
Absolutely. Okay, along that same lines, you shake off a stressful jam day? Like how do you de-stress? Because everybody's got a unique answer for that, and I
Yeah.
think people are thinking about that a little bit more, and they should be. If not.
And they should be. Oh man. For me, it's like investing in my sleep.
Mm.
So I have a very particular uh process for my sleep. I like shopped around for like the best sheets. I invested in a
Love it.
really good mattress. I went through and tested like several pillows actually recently because I was needing a new one.
Pillows are tough. They
Pillows
are
are
tough. Really
oh my
tough.
gosh, like so much. And then we have a red light on our in our lamps, so when we
Okay.
are going to bed, it's red light versus the blue light. That will
Yeah.
keep you awake.
Okay. Super
We
cool.
have, like, our temperature set at
Yeah.
72 degrees. We have where a melatonin, we have a diffuser with a serenity,
I
uh,
love it.
whatchamacallit,
Yeah.
essential oils. I
Hmm.
have actually this thing called Sensate, Sensate, and it's a little teardrop looking thing that sits like on your chest and it activates your vagus nerve, which your vagus nerve is basically how like it manages stress basically in your body and making sure your
Hmm.
organs aren't all stressed out. And so every night I'll lay it on my chest for like a 10-minute vibration session and it literally pulses in different ways, but it will get you calmed down. If you're a high anxiety person like
Oh,
me,
so
it
cool.
will get you calmed down, like, faster than anything I've ever tried, and trust me, I've tried a lot of
So
things,
cool.
and it's like it just sits there, and it just, like, is buzzing and whatever else, and that's been a game changer too, so I think it's that one is, like it was, like, $250, and when someone told me about it, I was like, "Seriously?" But it's been, like, a game changer, so, again, I invest heavily in my sleep because if I do not get good sleep, then, like, everything else doesn't even matter.
I love that. I love that. Okay. And
Yeah.
last question. Do you have a podcast or a book? It can be either that you would highly recommend. That's something that's really kind of inspired you or helped you or just entertained you.
Mhm. I would say a book that my team and I reference a lot is Radical Candor. It's by Kim Scott, I believe, and it's extremely powerful. Even if you don't have a team, just even recognizing the power of being straightforward in your communication is so beneficial. And especially with my team, knowing like, hey, we're going to have difficult conversations in this journey that's called being on a team. And I need to trust that you're going to have those conversations with me, and you need to trust that I'm going to have those conversations with you. And the people who've been on my team for 2, 3 years are very familiar with, hey, I can tell Jordan, hey, the way you did this didn't make me feel good, or
Mm,
what you did here doesn't make me feel secure, or whatever the case is. And that gives me way more trust in my team than when people don't say what's really going on and then they either choose to leave and I don't know. And it's like, oh, well, we could have like fixed that. Like that was something that we
totally.
could have like talked about or like figured out. So I think that yeah, Radical Candor is a great book and also just a great mentality when it comes to again the power of just straightforward communication.
I think communication is key for like life.
Totally.
So I will definitely link that because I'm always looking for another good read, and I think others would find that valuable too.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time. I hope that listeners will find you and check you out because you just are a wealth of knowledge and very inspirational. So thank you for your
Yeah.
time. I appreciate you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, Kim. Glad to be here.
Thanks so much for listening into the show. It truly means so much to me. You can check out the important links mentioned in today's episode in the show notes, and please join the conversation over on Instagram at May and James Co. I love hearing from you. There are so many great conversations coming up, so please make sure you are subscribed to Apple or Spotify or any of your favorite media players so that you don't miss out. And if you enjoyed the show today, please share and leave a review and a rating because it helps us so very much. Until next time.